Hello, I'm Leslie Robinson, the evolver or the creator of the 5-Minute Facilitator. I love learning, and for me, learning is a kind of evolution. It is me evolving. And I'm a smart girl and always got all the good marks and all of that kind of thing because that was just the groove that I was in. But it took a highly resistant, disruptive class to actually teach me that because I teach does not guarantee that they learn. And up until then, I really had been what is known in the biz as the sage on the stage, or worse, the drone on the throne. But what this class taught me was that there was a whole other way of being that was completely different to the system I had grown up in. And that was that I could shift from the sage on the stage to the guide on the side. So our systems are crumbling. Something has gone crazy wrong with evolution. And you're probably familiar with this picture, where you can see that we started off as apes and then we started to walk more and more upright. But then instead of evolving into, well, anyway, as we took up arms and tools, we got crouchier and crouchier and more dependent on those very tools. So our educational system was really based in the Industrial Revolution in Britain in the 1750s, and the purpose of that was to supply workers to factories. Then years later, Roosevelt said, education is to create workers, but also to create soldiers. But this really has just been in our consciousness for the last 250, 300 years. That's not how we are naturally, at least the way that I see things. I was so curious about all of this, I went and I got myself a master's degree in adult education with a focus on quantum physics and how people learn. And so in that, what I discovered is that we are evolving faster and faster before it would take us an entire lifetime or a whole generation in order to make one really significant change, to double knowledge or internal knowledge as well as the external knowledge. But if we look at a timeline, it's going faster and faster and faster. And so now, instead of my parents having one career, I'm already on my third, fourth, fifth, and some of them simultaneous careers, right? As I'm sure many of you are as well. And so we're evolving faster and faster. The amount of knowledge that we have is going faster and faster. And basically our systems can't keep up with it. And that includes our educational system, our churches, our governments. All of the systems that we put in place for that old paradigm are now crumbling. But please note, it's the system that is crumbling. It's not the people. And what this means educationally is if this was the teacher, the factory worker, owner, all right, the information had to be disseminated down like this to all of the people. Okay. But people, us, we are just simply evolving, regardless of the system. Now, we all creak and groan with it, as the classrooms have to get bigger and there's less funding for teachers and all of that kind of thing, and training budgets corporately and so on. But we as a people can't not do this. We can slow it down, but we really can't. And so what's happening is all the dots are now starting to connect when we've got things like the internet. We've got so much social media. We've got our own telepathy, if you will. We've got our own vibrational processes that are really ancient, and we're bringing them back. So that disruptive class was the great gift, because all their resistance that was going on in that room. They were pushing back with me, or on me, pushing me back. They weren't going to learn anything because I was doing the top-down thing with them. And they would have nothing of it. So they ended up talking, and then eventually I sort of started to slowly get the message, and then I set them a problem. I gave them a few tools, and I set them a problem. And all of a sudden, they became the most self-directed learners. They seized the problem. They brought all their past life experience forward. They made everything relevant to the job that they were training for. And so there was this explosively exciting time in the classroom, and we were finished early. And not only did we bend time and space, because they seized their own learning. But then what happened is they went out and they got their jobs, their dream jobs, and they stayed in those jobs. They did extremely well on national exams. You know, like the ripples that went out from this were amazing. And today, 20 years later, you know, I'm sitting in front of you now saying, there's a better way, folks. And that's what I'm all about here. So in the 5-Minute Facilitator, the program that I have culled the best of the best in my 25-year career of training. I've trained thousands of trainers across North America, actually across the world. And in that time, this is what I have really learned. So in the 5-Minute Facilitator, I only teach top down, but actually face-to-face, eyeball to eyeball with you. I just teach for a max of 20% of our time together, a max. And you will bring your work forward. So when we're designing lesson plans, I will teach you in 5-minute segments what you do first. And then you will do it. And I will hang by, or my associates will hang by and answer your questions to be sure that you get that first really important step. And then the next day we go, or the next time we go to the second item, so that we build a framework, like building the house, so that then the learners can feel all safe within the house. All right, and then they start to, when they feel safe, then they start to blossom. So in the first 5-Minute Facilitator, it's about designing awesome lesson plans. I mean, they really work. These systems work. There is a power. There is a natural intrinsic power to this system that works. In the second series, we have facilitating engaging classes. So once you've got the lesson plan and you've got your own structure, then you move out into working with the group. And what are those group processes? So it's an understanding and taking action on that understanding of facilitating engaging classes. So all of this saves you time. It saves you budget that most of us don't have, or a lot of us don't have anymore. And much more importantly, it is increasing the results, that students are becoming self-directed. So it's not that we're just teaching them to, or feeding them a fish. We're actually teaching them how to fish, right? So I'm doing that with you. You will do that with your people. Okay. And so we get increased productivity. We get long-lasting results. We get complete engagement, and then it's theirs. All right. So I present to you the 5-Minute Facilitator. In the first class, it's all about the structure. In the second one, it's all about the process that support learning. So I'm Leslie Robinson. This is the 5-Minute Facilitator. Please help me or join me, and together we can evolve learning. Thanks.